So, are there any hints on how to make this full screen for those of us who work in the 2003 version of Microsoft Office? On the Cool. SIG, good. Hello, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Malcolm Conway. I'm Staff Officer Grade 1 Learning Technology at Headquarters Forces Command, and the content in my presentation will be at the unofficial level. So that means I can't use three-letter acronyms, military jargon, cliches, and talking song lyrics, which means I'll only be talking about 5 to 10 minutes. The scope, I'm going to talk about innovation, imitation and intuition. So if you remember 3 words from what I talk about, those should be the ones. So if you're going to write something down, just write down those 3 words. Immediately following my presentation will be the presentation from the Defence Force School of Signals with Captain Fraser Travaskis. Is that correct pronunciation? And you've got a sergeant with you? No, it's just me. All right, so he's on his own. And then later today at 2:15 will be Major Peter Grant, and he will give a presentation on what the School of Music has done. Both 2 very innovative sites of Army education and training, using very different ways of employing Moodle. We think about innovation theory. Everett Rogers, in his seminal work, Diffusion of Innovation, came up with this diagram and identified that in adopting an innovation, there are those who are the visionaries and the early adopters who are the first to do it. And I've indicated up here that the School of Signals is one of those, and they're closely followed by School of Music. Jeff Moore, he develops Rogers' diffusion of innovation theory because it's about communication of ideas and technologies over time within context. And Moore identified a chasm, where there is a space to cross to get over the pragmatics and the conservatism that prevents people from adopting an innovation. So on the other side of the chasm, I've placed the School of Intelligence and the School of Policing within Army. Those 4 training centres are all within those 4 schoolhouses are all within the one training centre within Army. So once we've completed this diffusion of innovation and we've got Signals doing it, Music doing it, Intelligence doing it and Policing doing it, we will have one of Army's 6 training centres using Moodle to deliver components of training and education across the 4 schoolhouses. Once we've done that, we think it'll be relatively easy to progress to the other training centres. Now obviously it's not necessarily a linear process. There will be others from other institutions who see some desirable attributes within the use of Moodle or a learning management system of any sort to improve their delivery of training and education. So it's not necessarily a linear process. This is just how we depict it at the moment. If I can get a quick show of hands, how many would see themselves as being in the blue, the technology enthusiasts jumping right in? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to write this down so that I can go away with some stats. And those who are next in the pragmatist or the visionary piece, those of us who would come next after the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 and 7. And those who are next, 5 who are in the pragmatist, conservatives, none, and the laggards, the sceptics at the back. Any? So none of you see yourselves as sceptics or laggards when it comes to innovating, picking up Moodle to deliver your training and your education? Including all you guys wearing the uniform that I'm wearing? Right, if my job was only this easy. So In terms of the innovation process, we've got the School of Signals, who are very innovative, who have done it first in our case, closely followed by music. We've got this chasm to cross, and intelligence and policing are where those two schools that we see occurring next within that single training centre. So there's the issue of imitation that has to follow after early innovation. So in Signals, technology enthusiasts, they've got the technological skills, they've got the vision, they've got the motivation, and it's relatively easy for them to do. They're also well supported because they have a commercial contractor who delivers their technical training, which is their unofficial how to be a computer technician, how to be a linesman, how to be a radio technician training. And that's Box Hill Institute of TAFE. So in this example, it's relatively easy for the School of Signals to imitate what the Box Hill Institute of TAFE has been doing, because that commercial provider is showing them best practices, it's delivering lesson content and lessons learned on how to implement Moodle and how to use Moodle successfully, and it's also providing them with some training in how to create content, how to manage courses, and it's also providing them with a level of support. So the School of Signals, a relatively easy and well-supported side of innovation. With music, they're technology enthusiasts, but they don't necessarily have the same sort of networking skills and information computer technology skills that the School of Signals does, so it imitates from the School of Signals. Conveniently, they're both collated with each other, or co-located with each other, down in Melbourne. So they can look, the School of Music can look over at the School of Signals, and it can see best practices, the lessons learnt, and it can get some training from them and some support from them. Which is why I've placed intelligence and policing on the other side of the chasm, because they are not located in Melbourne. They require technology enablement and support, and they require a champion and a learning centre manager. So the technology-enabled training and support, that's been created with a small section of support based in Victoria to help the intelligence school and the policing school to cross the gap. They also need a local champion and a local learning centre manager, because they don't necessarily have the resident vision and skills, technology skills, to set this up themselves. Which leads to my last point about intuition. The value proposition for the intelligence school and the policing school needs to be tangible, because some of them are pragmatists, some of them are conservative, and some of them are quite sceptical about it. They don't necessarily see themselves as resourced to do this, so they need to be helped along so that the decision that they make to adopt Moodle or a learning management system or distance education is as easy as possible for them, based on what has been learnt previously. So we're consolidating the advances that we've made down in Melbourne with the School of Signals and the School of Music, and we're crossing the gap from both sides. So we have individual course managers and commanding officers at the School of Signals and the School of Music, on the School of Policing, who want to do it. They just need the technological package to be delivered to them and the upskilling with training, education, support and information technology, hardware and software. So with crossing that chasm, we're attempting to bridge it from both sides. Are there any questions of me? That's excellent. So in conclusion, innovation, imitation and intuition. School of Signals are next. School of Music is this afternoon. I encourage you to attend both and listen to the detail of how they've innovated and what they're doing. Two different approaches. School of Signals very much about supporting residential training, particularly through the use of assessment, whereas School of Music is very much about delivering previously residential training at a distance and being quite innovative in using video as the medium of assessment. So some very good lessons learnt there on how Defence and Army is implementing Moodle to make it more efficient, more enjoyable, more enforceable, and also better way of learning for both distance education by taking the classroom out of the classroom and putting it into the information technology in the hands of the soldier and the officer. So it's not just about flipping the classroom, it's about taking the classroom and placing it at the information technology in the hand of the learner. You've been very, very great. I'll leave you with a quote from Dewey, and I invite Captain Travakis to take the stage.